Alright guys, so I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is that new Frank Ocean song's leak, which means that the fans can finally eat without having to support a dude who sells $25,000 cock rings.
What?
But the bad news is that the song sucks ass, and it sounds like it was made in AI because only God would smite a Frank Ocean fan. But hey, at least someone wanted to come back after a long hiatus, with UK producer SBTRKT coming back with his first album in 7 years with The Rat Road, being a compilation of wavy synths, electronica, and even more sampha just to make for another banger for 2023. So if I'm going to start off on any portion of this album, it'll have to be the three main features that are tossed around here, which are Tizo Touchdowns, Sampha, and Layla, with all of them going above and beyond for their respective tracks and making some of the best songs off this entire album. Starting off with Tizo, he was part of the second to last tracks named Waiting and The Rat Road, dishing out some nice vocals to complement the wavy synths and piano keys that are sprinkled about, especially with the former having a nice hard-hitting bass drop that gives off the more end of the week vibes, especially with the simple and catchy chorus that Tizo gave us. But then as for Sampha, I feel like there's not much to say about the UK singer, since every single time he's collaborated with SBTRKT, he's always gone above and beyond, and on this project, he definitely doesn't hold himself or anyone else back, giving us some amazing vocals on LFO and Limitless, with the former being such a takeover for Sampha, while accompanying feature George Riley complements so well to make an amazing duet. But then last but definitely not least, I really want to talk about Layla the most because one, she has the most features on this album, totaling out at 4 of the 22 tracks, and with each feature she has, she absolutely kills. Like, I'm so impressed with her vocal range and how well she's able to complement these more melodic, wavy, ambient-like, and synth-heavy tracks such as Drift, Limitless, and No Intention, with these three being some of my favorites from this album. And then there's a track Forward that instead twists her vocals to give her a higher pitch and work more with the experimental ambient-like beat we're given. And after first hearing her on a previously released track from SBTRKT called Mr. Days, I was already pretty intrigued to hear what was coming next from her afterwards, but to see that she was able to really kick down the door on this album is what's going to want me to stay tuned for whatever she has planned for in the future. But as for everyone else, there was a DEE feature on the interlude of his own name, and honestly I feel like it was kind of pointless. I mean, it was just DEE dropping minimal bars over some monotone ambient sound that felt more like filler than an actual track. But when talking about those little intermissions thrown in between, the one that really caught my attention was Wasted, with Anna at the North doing some echoing auto-tune background vocals that I thought was pretty nice. But I think what really sold this track for me was the little beat drop it had. I just really wish this song wasn't a little over a minute long because I felt so much potential in so little time. But aside from that, there was also Mr. Kai Isaiah Jamal on Kappa, giving us some more spoken word poetry, while this more creepy, weird instrumental runs in the background that I honestly didn't see the point in, and I don't really think fits the rest of the album, but whatever, I guess. And there was also a little dragon on the closing track, I See a Stare, with lead singer Miss Nagano dishing out some amazing vocals, while the guitar and piano lingers in the background and complements so well to make for another banger.
Signs don't mean it moving slow, even though the speaker,
But then looking on the production side, I feel like for the most part, it was pretty darn good. We got some pretty fun and interesting beats in here, such as Forward, You Broke My Heart But I'ma Fix It, and Days Go By, that all really kept my attention all the way through, and I feel it really stayed on that more wavy or melodic theme that SBTRKT was trying to go for. I think the main issue I have is with the much shorter tracks that were thrown in between, such as Rain Crush, Palm Reader, and Saya Interlude, that honestly all felt like filler and didn't really serve that much of a purpose, feeling like it was bloating the hell out of the album just for the sake of the length. I also didn't like how some of the tracks flowed into one another, with me wishing that instead of tossing in some random 30-second interval in between, he just properly fade one into the other so it all wouldn't feel like a bunch of unnecessary noise. But aside from that, the mixing was solid. I didn't catch any annoying muddy vocals or the instrumental drowning out the vocals, which was good. And when working with the features, I feel like SBTRKT really did a good job complementing more to their strengths to help elevate the song, instead of just throwing two people in the booth and telling them to sing like DJ Khaled or something. But overall, this album was honestly pretty nice. The beats were fun, the features for the most part were amazing, and it's good to see SBTRKT come back on such a good note after 7 years. So to put this on a scale, I'm giving this a low 8 out of 10, definitely being a top 10 of 2023 for me. But how do you guys feel about the new SBTRKT album? What would you rate it? Let me know down in the comments, like and subscribe, and follow my IG and Twitter, and follow Chocolate on Instagram for more illustrations. And on that note, I'll see you guys on Monday when I try to figure out why British people like beans so much. Peace.